Hello, how's it going? Welcome. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your favorite author. Who is your favorite author? Whether you have an author that you love to listen to or love to read, many times when we're reading or listening to audios, we've got a specific person that we like to listen to and hear from. So I just wanted to hop on and share with you some of my favorites. Some of them are a little bit more fun, some of them are a little bit more for learning, but they're just some of my favorites. A couple of them I haven't gotten to read yet, and I'm excited because they're on my list for next month. Yay! When you make your reading list, do you make it ahead of time, or are you one of those people who kind of picks up a book and that's the book that you're going to go with? I can go either way. If I see something really good on Kindle or on Audible, sometimes I'll just hop on and pick one. But a lot of times, I'll make a list through the year of books that I hear about, authors that people recommend. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of audios. I've been doing a lot of driving, so audios have been where I've been sticking to, and I found some really good podcasts that I like. But today we're just going to focus on who is your favorite author. And I've got a little bit of a variety going on, so we'll see. Maybe some of you have heard some of these guys before. Maybe some of these authors are a little bit new to you. But we're going to start with some fun things first. So one of my favorite authors, and I'll tell you, I started reading her books way back when I was in college. And I don't know if you've heard of Jeanette Evanovich. She is like one of my favorites. So she's got several books out. The 25th one actually just came out, and well, probably like a month or two ago it came out, but I'm really excited about it. I haven't gotten to read it yet. But her series are really cool because they're easy reads, they're fun, they're sporadic, the characters in there are always getting into something new, and like the basis of a story, the basis of any good story is to have characters that have a lot going on. My favorite is when the characters are kind of scattered, and just are trying to make it through because it's so relatable. A lot of times when you're talking about your products and your services, you're trying to tell stories that people can understand. And the best way to do it is to think about one of your favorite authors, right? So like if I were to think of Jeanette Evanovich's books, they go through and they've got their struggles that they're going through, they've got their daily things that they go through, but they're sharing a story. And if you watch movies, a lot of times you'll see things like mixed in, like people will wear a specific brand or eat a specific brand, and it's supposed to send you like subtle cues about it. So I think it's pretty cool. Most of you probably heard of Nora Roberts. She is another one of my favorites. Been reading her a little bit longer. But Endless Summer is one that I have not gotten to read yet, and it's been on my list for a while, but it keeps getting pushed down because I've got all these other books that I've been reading, right? So the basis of those two books are that you've got your main character, you've got a story, you've got a struggle, and you've got a conclusion, a resolution of how they get through it, right? And so when you're telling stories about your products, it's the same thing. So you can really learn a lot about how you want to share what you're using or what your business is by just learning how to share a story. And the best way to learn that is by reading or listening to books. You don't have to read. If you're not a big reader, listening will help you as well. So you can find all sorts of audiobooks, short ones, long ones, whatever topic you want. And it's a really good way just to see how you can share your story of what it is that you're trying to sell, right? So one of the big things that I tend to talk a lot about is content and planning and trying to get, everything fitting into your day. You've got a lot of stuff going on. Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. But you will see that a lot of times people feel like they don't have time. But if you look at it, those really high top earners, those successful marketers, they have the same 24 hours. It's not like they have more time. They just learn how to use it more efficiently. And one of my favorite books that I read back in high school, and I started going through again, is The 1 Minute Manager. This has always been one of my favorite books. Really short, doesn't take a lot of time to read. You can get it on audio, and it's only like an hour or two. It's not long. But The 1 Minute Manager really shows you how you can manage your time, how you can be intentional with what you're doing instead of being scattered and trying to get 1,000 things done, feeling like the world is falling apart. It shows you how you can prioritize what it is that you're doing. And many times the reason that someone feels that there's not enough time in a day and that they're struggling with their business, or that they're struggling with trying to fit in maybe exercise or whatever it is, it's because you're not being intentional with your time. You're running here, you're running there, and you're not focused. So, one of the things I love is using a planner, and in my planner I go through it and I say, what can I fit in at what time? I know when I have to work, I know when I'm going to take the dogs for a walk, I know when I'm going to ride the horses, and then everything else is just going to have to fit around it. If I have to get hay, if I have to go out, whatever, that's going to fit around my priorities. Everything else will have to fit. And what you do is you figure out, well, if something's a bigger activity, where do I have a larger amount of time? So you can go in and fit it in that way. When I first started reading, more time, definitely. When I first started reading books about trying to figure out, how to be intentional with my time, the biggest thing was just picking activities that fit where you had the time for them. You don't want to try to cram in a big activity in an area. And actually, one of the things I started doing was getting up earlier in the morning. And by getting up earlier in the morning, I can get more done. I have time for me, I've got time for the animals, and I've got time to do the things that I want to do. So, you can stretch it out a little bit. Find time where, if your family sleeps late or your family sleeps to a certain time, wake up a little bit earlier. Or if everyone goes to bed at a certain time, stay up a little bit later. Sometimes only 15 minutes or half an hour can make the biggest difference, especially when you're in network marketing. You've got simple activities that you can fit in 15 minutes or half an hour, and you don't have to worry about trying to do that throughout the day. I can get a blog post out in probably 15 minutes and have it done with the graphics and all. So sometimes just waking up earlier allows me to get those out, right? A lot of times I feel like we get in the way because of the thoughts we have in our own head. And so you come up with these excuses, and these excuses cause procrastination, and they cause you to feel down about yourself. And there's no reason for it, because if you've got something that you believe in, there's a reason you believe in it, and you should definitely work towards it. You shouldn't throw it away just because obstacles get in your way. That obstacle that you're about to hurdle over, could bring you to the best thing that you've ever seen. So one of my focuses this past year was working on my own mindset. I was going through some things in my own head and trying to figure out, my own thoughts and why people thought the way they did. And I was going back and forth, and it took a sit down with a friend and a couple days of reading some really good books. But there's some authors that have great insights on just how to keep focus and how to know that what you're doing is the right thing, and if you believe in it, it's worth it. So one of my favorite books that I actually read last year How to Break Your Own Rules. This was one of my favorites. Not a very long book. It's actually geared towards women, but guys, you could read it if you wanted it to. It's not that bad, but it is geared towards women. Specifically because it focuses on the mindset that women have, where we always apologize for everything we do, and we always feel like we are getting in the way of other people and things that they want to do. And it gives you insights on why you're thinking that way and how to change it. And so it's made like a really big difference because I can recognize when I'm doing it and how to stop it. Obviously it's a work in progress, but it's one of those books that was really eye-opening. So if you're looking for a book to really help you manage your own thoughts, I definitely suggest that one. So what are your favorite authors? Do you have ones that you prefer on different topics? Think about, if you're looking for books that are about certain topics or strategies or something to help you with a problem, a lot of times you can find the best ones just by talking with people. People can always give you really good recommendations as to how something's helped them or what they've learned from it. And a lot of times, you'll be reading something and you'll have those epiphanies like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that. So you can really, and maybe you're not a reader, maybe, like I said, maybe you prefer audiobooks, that's okay too. But it is so important to focus on learning here and there different things, different ways of thought that other people have provided. And, even if it is a fiction book, you can learn so much from some of those. Jeanette Ivanovich, she does a really good job of weaving in different psychologies of different people. And if you read the book, you would understand. She's got like 25 of them, but you can watch their whole story. And she is so good with psychology because she focuses on keeping each character on target to who they are, and to watch them develop over the 25 books is pretty cool too, because it's the same thing that you see in everybody in general. So my suggestion to you, if you are working on learning some new strategies, some new techniques, or even just working on yourself, go out, Google, Amazon, Friends. I would find some authors, fiction, nonfiction. I would find some good books that people recommend and see what they can do for you, how they can help you. And so I hope that you enjoyed this, and maybe those are some books that you'll want to check out. Maybe they're not, but no matter what, if you want, go ahead and share this video. It's got some nice little tips to help some people who may be struggling with how to tell their story or how to figure out what they're trying to say when they're selling their products. And if you're interested in learning more about it and about different strategies, there's always my newsletter. I send out at least 1 to 2 a week to just share different information that I'm learning, books that I'm reading, videos, podcasts, all sorts of fun things. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for popping on.